What if I told you that a team comprised of the misfits of the soccer world would shock the system and win one of the most prestigious leagues in all of sports? The story of Leicester City Football Club, nicknamed the Foxes, is one that captivated the sports world in 2015-2016 season. But to tell the whole story of this remarkable dream come true, we go back to the promotion playoff semifinals between Leicester City and Watford in the 2012-2013 season. Over the two-leg semi-final, the score was knotted up at 2-2 going into the late stages of the match. With the two teams still tied, it seemed extra time was imminent. But there was a twist. The referee awarded Leicester City a penalty in the 96th minute that would surely send them to the playoff final, where they would compete for a spot in next season's Premier League. Up stepped Anthony Knockaert to take what would be the goal to send Leicester to the playoff finals, the most important penalty kick that this club had ever seen. But then the football world was treated to one of the most incredible 30 seconds it had ever seen.
Knockaert takes, Almunia saves, Knockaert follows in, Almunia saves again! Absolutely astonishing. Now here come Watford. Forestieri. Here's Hogg! Deeney! Do not scratch your eyes! You are really seeing the most extraordinary finish here!
Heartbreak for Leicester. Watford's Troy Deeney was able to score on the other end of the pitch. Leicester, having been so close to the playoff final, were doomed to play in the second division of English football for the following season. While most teams would have not been able to bounce back from such a cruel loss, Leicester, as you will see, are not most teams. The 2013-2014 season was one of triumph for Leicester. The club set out determined to avoid the playoffs and win the league outright to gain automatic promotion to the Premier League. Leicester dominated the second division that season, finishing with 31 wins, 9 draws, and 6 losses, winning the league outright and earning promotion to compete in the 2014-2015 Premier League season. Now, during this period, the Foxes had been managed by Englishman Nigel Pearson. He was the manager at the semi-final versus Watford, and now he was the man to bring Premier League matches back to Leicester's King Power Stadium, and he would be the man to lead them in their first stint in the English top flight since their relegation in 2004. The Foxes started off well, drawing with Everton 2-2 and coming back from 3-1 down at home to beat Manchester United 5-3. However, after a dismal run of form, Leicester City found themselves rock bottom of the league with a measly 10 points from 18 matches. Hope of avoiding relegation back down to the second division was beginning to fade. And as the season went on, Leicester found themselves with 9 matches remaining, in 20th out of 20 teams in the league. All hope had seemed lost for the Foxes. However, only 3 points separated bottom of the table Leicester from 17th place Hull City, who were barely outside the bottom 3 of the relegation zone. Cue the Great Escape.
Bouchard finds the bottom corner. He wasn't even supposed to be in the team today. It's Cambiasso who takes it. Fabianski saves, and Andy King is there. And Swansea won't come back from this one today. Surely means that 3 vital points will be going Leicester City's way.
After snatching 7 wins from their last 9 matches, Leicester finished in 14th place with 41 total points. Nigel Pearson had done the impossible and led his side to one of the greatest escapes from relegation in Premier League history. But yet again, there was a twist. On the 30th of June 2015, Leicester City announced the firing of manager Nigel Pearson, with the club stating the working relationship between Nigel and the board is no longer viable. This left the club without their miracle working manager, who was crucial in their rise up the Premier League and their great escape from relegation. The club eventually decided to hire Italian manager Claudio Ranieri. Ranieri had just been fired from the Greek national team after drawing once and losing 3 matches, one of them to the lowly Faroe Islands. Leicester's decision was one that was met with harsh criticism from experts around the world, and thus Ranieri was tasked with avoiding relegation at the start of the 15-16 season. At the beginning of the season, Leicester were 5,000 to 1 odds to win the Premier League title. Many experts and media members had the Foxes as their favourites to be relegated come the end of the campaign. They opened the season with 4-2 wins over Sunderland and a 2-1 win over West Ham United. The first loss of their campaign came against Arsenal in late September after a 5-2 thriller that dropped the Foxes out of first. Leicester didn't lose again until December 26th, and in those 10 games in between, the Foxes won 8 of their matchups. On the first day of 2016, Leicester were level on points with Arsenal at top of the table. In a league dominated by teams who spend tens of millions on players, surely this team of underdogs would have to be put down eventually, right? Wrong. The wins and the draws kept coming for the Foxes. They beat Manchester City, they beat Manchester United, they beat Liverpool, they beat defending Premier League champions Chelsea. And all along the way, pundits kept saying that it couldn't be done, that the dream was surely going to be over soon, that reality would finally creep in. But eventually, on May 2nd, 2016, Leicester's only competition, Tottenham Hotspur, had to beat the defending champions Chelsea. Late on in the match, Tottenham led 2-1. All signs pointed towards Spurs holding on and keeping the title race alive. And finally, after every twist before had gone against Leicester City, the footballing gods smiled on the Foxes for the first time in what felt like ages.
True. Took the best part of 3 Chelsea players to stop him. Again, the positioning of the referee was excellent, as is the work here of Hazard. Costa turns Alderweireld. Hazard! He has done it!
Eden Hazard hit a wondrous curling effort that pierced the back of the net and simultaneously sent the city of Leicester into delirium. And on May 7th, 2016, in the King Power Stadium, Leicester City were awarded the Premier League trophy for the first time in club history. They became only the 6th different club to win the Premier League in its current form. It had been only a year since the Foxes had celebrated their great escape from relegation, and it had almost been 3 years to the day since Leicester had their hearts ripped out by Watford in the playoff semi-final. This was the stuff of legend. A team going 1 year from fighting to survive to the next year fighting to thrive in one of the most prestigious leagues in the world, and each player played a pivotal role. Kasper Schmeichel, the goalkeeper whose father won 5 Premier League titles with Manchester United. The goalkeeper whose father won the European Championships with Denmark in 1992. Wes Morgan, the first Caribbean-born player to ever captain a Premier League winning side. N'Golo Kanté, whose gritty work in the center of the midfield played a crucial part in his side's defensive record. Riyad Mahrez, whose slender build and brilliant skill created goals seemingly out of nothing for the Foxes. And finally, Jamie Vardy, an English striker who 7 years prior was playing semi-professionally while working as a technician. Fast forward to the 2015-2016 season, and Jamie Vardy scored 24 goals in the league and setting a new record, scoring in 11 consecutive matches, breaking the record held by legendary Dutch striker Ruud van Nistelrooy. These players were the core of this incredible feat. This was never supposed to happen, and yet it did. Leicester City went from rags to riches, went from worst to first. In 365 days, they went from elation at their Premier League survival to euphoria in their Premier League triumph. And in the greatest sports story ever told, Leicester City taught us to hope. Leicester City taught us to hold on to hope. No matter what it is in life you believe in, no matter what it is in life that you hope for, you hold on to it and you fight for it until your final breath. And if there is ever a moment where all hope seems lost, in your darkest hour, look to the pantheon of great sporting achievements, and there you will see it. Leicester City's torch burning bright for decades to come, because this story is one that should never be forgotten. And this story is one that will never be forgotten.